Well, hello. I wasn't expecting to be back so soon, but this came out like 2 seconds after I got off live. Hold on. Let me set it up. Let me set this up. New information has come out. Police have revealed who prepared the
Research
meal.
reveals Tony's living.
Police revealed who made the meal and as investigations ramp up into the fatal mushroom poisoning that killed 3 people. Police probing a fatal mushroom poisoning that killed 3 people and left a 4th fighting for life have revealed who prepared the meal. The community of Korumburra in Victoria's South Gippsland region were left in mourning following the death of Don and Gail Patterson. So they're saying, hold on. They're saying they were struck down after eating the mushrooms at lunch. We know that. I'm just trying to find the bit. They had lunch and then left there, but about midnight on Saturday night, some of them starting to feel ill. What we do know is that 4 people, 3 have passed away after they attended a lunch in Leongatha. So where is the bit? Just trying to find the bit where they actually tell us who. Superintendent revealed a number of children had been present at the lunch but had not partaken in the meal. He confirmed a 5th person, a relative of the group, had been present, and it was at their home that the meal took place. The superintendent, it was that person who has not been identified who prepared the meal for the group. At this stage, there is nothing to suggest the 5th person became ill. I'm pretty sure that 5th person is the 38-year-old they were talking about. That's okay, Reason. Thanks for hanging around. I appreciate it. Hey, love is a 4-letter word. I just popped on because this information just came out. They must have just held a press conference. And I want to find it. Maybe we can find it. Maybe we can find the press conference. So there was a 58-year-old woman who they were concerned about that may have, they were interviewing about the meal and who prepared the mushrooms and things like that. So I'm just trying to see if we can find they must have done a press update because they've got all new information in here, or at least some of it's new. Oh, it seems like he was on 3AW. So told 3AW was that person. On Saturday, we executed a search warrant at that address where the lunch took place and conducted an interview with that person. Well, that is that person because that's what the other article said, that it was at that home. I wonder if it's a relative, like a daughter or something. Hey, Mel Mac. How's it going? Good to see you. Oh, I'm just trying to find out more information about this mushroom poisoning. Oh, yeah, the channel isn't monetized. That's true. I forgot about that. Okay, maybe we can watch it. Hold on. Alright. Hold on. We can do this one. Alright. Let me load it up.
This morning, the homicide squad has been brought in to investigate a suspected mushroom poisoning in Victoria's South Gippsland region, which has left 3 people dead and another man fighting for life. Let's bring in Nathan Hersey, Mayor of South Gippsland Shire Council. Mayor, thank you so much for your time this morning. Gee, difficult weekend for you. These residents were well known, well loved.
Yeah, that's right, Carl. We have had a significant loss to the Korumburra community this week, and also many people in our community are grieving the loss of 3 very important, much loved and very well-respected people in our community. And also Pastor Ian is still in hospital in a bad way, I suppose. And our prayers and our thoughts are certainly with him and with the family and the Baptist Church congregation at this very difficult time.
Well, when I heard the story, I just couldn't quite fathom how it had happened. I guess everyone is thinking the same.
Yeah, look, and it's still an active investigation, so I won't comment too much on it. But what we know is that the family had lunch at a home, a private home, which is now well known, and it was a suspected case of gastro, which has obviously changed from that point, with multiple people becoming extremely unwell, and now unfortunately the loss of three lives of valued members of our community. What happens from here, it needs to remain in the hands of the authorities to investigate. But I know from discussions yesterday with people in our community and at the Baptist Church in Korumburra that we are just hoping for a really good outcome for Ian, and also for as the best support that possibly can be given to the family and friends at this time.
I think the other concern that I've heard said several times is, and again, this is just I guess what happens in these situations. People have got really nervous about what might have been served, and ongoing concerns about that. That's one of the issues, just one of them that you're confronting there.
Yeah, that's right. It's very hard in a tight-knit community, particularly when you have individuals who are involved, who give back and give so much to the community.
I'm just going to stop it for a second. So that's the mayor, I'm pretty sure. He's the guy we were talking about earlier, who's made a lot of comments on this case. And yeah, I see you just said there's a mushroom lamp in the back. That could be. Maybe it's a conspiracy. No, I don't think so. I just think maybe he likes that kind of art or something, but it is, ironic. All right, I have to pause it, otherwise we get a copyright strike. But this is from Channel 9, the Today Show, courtesy of the Today Show. Of course, we're going to comment over the top of it, according to the Fair Use Policy guidelines. All right, let's go.
Community, it just, it's felt wide, far and wide, and I'm sure not just within South Gippsland and Korumburra, but further around our region as well, that there is those thoughts of why has this happened. And I know that yesterday when I was speaking with some members of the church, that they really are wondering, why is this happening to people who have been so integral and good and great people for our community. But at the moment, we just have to let that that investigation continue, and provide whatever support we can as a community to the family and to the friends, and also provide them with the privacy that they're requesting at this time whilst they grieve the loss.
That's as good an answer as you can provide. Like Russell Island is dealing with a tragedy on a massive scale, and it's a small, tight-knit community. You're doing the same. What should people know about what is on offer for your community?
Look, we have plenty of support through our local council, which has been provided through one of our councillors. The offer has been provided directly to the family. At this stage, the family have told our council through Councillor Keary, who has been in regular contact with the family, that they are feeling very well supported by the community. And that's one thing here, right? Because we have a small community, and they're also, these individuals are part of a very active church congregation and church family. They are feeling well supported at this time. But of course, our community is here and the council is here should anything else be required. But at this stage, we're told that the family are feeling very well supported by those around them.
They'll need all their faith, won't they? And all the help from
I actually found the interview with the Homicide Squad boss, and we're going to have a bit of a listen. It's about 6 minutes, and it delves into some more stuff. So let's have a listen.
Hey, boss, you called?
Yeah, I need you to cover a call at 11 a.m. with our supplier in Shanghai. Just turn off. Hey, Optus, take notes.
Inspector Dean Thomas, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Neil. Good morning to your listeners.
Thank you for your time. Obviously, we want to help on both these, but Is there yet a decision made on whether the mushroom incident was malicious or accidental?
Yeah, Neil, look, it's a really interesting case, and at this stage, I can say that the deaths are really unexplained, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it to understand what has actually occurred. What we do know is that the 4 patients, 3 who have sadly passed away, attended a lunch at an address in Leongatha back on last Saturday a week ago, Saturday the 29th of July, where they had lunch. They left there, and at about midnight on that Saturday night, some of them started to fall ill, resulting in all 4 of them during the course of Sunday attending the local hospitals at Currumbura and Leongatha. Sick, displaying poison like food poisoning type symptoms. They subsequently were conveyed to the Dandenong Hospital and on to the Austin, where they were treated, but unfortunately 3 of them died. So we're really trying to get to the bottom of what has occurred.
Okay, and so is it fair to say it's still undecided whether you're looking at a crime or an accident?
Very much so, Neil. We work very much for the coroner in these cases where we become the coronial investigator. We work to try and determine what has gone on to see if there is any nefarious activity that's occurred, or if it's in this case if it's an accidental type situation where these people have passed away from some form of poisoning, not at the hands of somebody else. So we don't know yet.
I've been told there was a 5th person at the meal. Is that correct?
Yes, there was. There was the 4 patients that ended up in the Austin Hospital, 3 of which have passed away, and then there was another person present who prepared the meal and whose address they attended for the meal.
And they did not become ill?
As far as we know at this stage, there is nothing to suggest they became ill. And obviously on Saturday, we executed a search warrant at the home address in Leongatha where the lunch took place, and we conducted an interview with that person. So our investigation is continuing.
And is that the person who cooked the mushrooms?
Yes, or cooked the meal. We're still trying to determine, obviously, if the mushrooms were part of that.
So did the...
Let me just break into that. I hope you just all heard that. They broke in, the person who cooked the meal, prepared the meal, and at whose home it was, didn't become ill. That is really interesting. Not saying they did anything, just saying it's a bit odd. If you were preparing a meal for someone, wouldn't you eat it as well? Or wouldn't you have eaten the poison mushrooms as well? I find that a bit weird. All right, let's listen to the rest of this interview. Oh, by the way, it's courtesy of 3AW, 3aw.com.au. Thank you for providing that. It's great.
The person who not become ill not eat the mushrooms?
I can't go into that sort of detail, Neil, because we're trying to understand who ate what at the lunch, whether that person that did not become ill did or did not eat the mushrooms, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, we're trying to ascertain what it is that has actually caused the poisoning to the 4 people that attended.
So those 5 people were the only ones there? Was there anybody else?
There were a couple of children present, but they did not partake in the meal that the others had.
Are you aware of any similar poisonings in the area about a year or so ago?
No, I'm not, Neil. Like we're working closely with Department of Health and, of course, our poisons experts at the Austin Hospital, etc. But I can say that of recent time we have not had any cases like this, and I'm not aware of any in recent time.
Is there anything we can do, the public can do to help?
Look, I think what's really important is I think what the message I'd like to get across is be very cautious if you're picking mushrooms out there. You don't know what it is that you could be eating, whether they are poisonous or not. There'll be a lot of people that may think they know, but they don't necessarily know what is poisonous and what's not. But our investigators are working, as I say, very closely with Department of Health. They're well and truly invested in this, and they're working very hard to get to the bottom of it, so that when it comes time, we can prepare a brief for the coroner, and hopefully we can provide some answers to the family of these 3 deceased. And I hope that the remaining surviving patient does get through it. But, we owe it to family. We owe it to these people that have passed away to understand what's happened.
I agree entirely. Have you heard an update on the condition of the surviving person?
Look, he's still listed as critical.
Okay.
It could still very much go either way. We're speaking to family.
You hear that update about the condition of the 4th person, that they are still critical, and their condition could go either way still today. They're still fighting for their lives. Like we heard out of the morel mushrooms in America on the other show, that lady battled for her life for 12 days and still succumbed to the poison. This guy could have a long fight ahead of him to still die or survive. I don't think they even know. They're going to try flush his system as best they can and try to get him through the poisoning event. Mel Max says, autopsy, I guess, will show if the mushrooms were on board. I think it's pretty sure that they ate them. Like, I think they know what was in the food and what they ate, and what type of mushrooms. They'll be able to probably test the body for what type of poison, and it's really, really troublesome. That detail about the person, having those people at their home and then them not getting sick, the children not getting sick, but the more elderly people getting sick. It's interesting. Look, there is a couple of types of mushrooms that can make people like the pregnant ladies or more elderly people, people with ill health. There's mushrooms out there that have some poison that can hurt people like that a lot more than people who are healthy. So I don't know if that's what's going on. Maybe the younger person did eat it, but just didn't get sick. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Love is a 4-letter word. If it was the yellow staining mushroom, apparently they stink of ink, like like black ink. Apparently, when you get near them, they really smell strongly of ink, like octopus ink, that type of thing. But I don't know what death caps do. I don't know if death caps have a particular off-putting aroma or anything. But you would think that when you were eating them, they might not taste okay, or you wonder if they were tasty. I don't know. I've never eaten one. Oh, I did eat that poison one back in the day when I was younger. Was it tasty? I don't know. I don't think I liked them that much, but it was what was given to me and I ate it. I didn't think I liked the texture. They were quite slimy, the ones I had. So yeah, it's so annoying. We were just on the air on the other channel, and then I was scrolling through the website just after we got off, and I was like, oh, they just put out an update. It's like, come on, Ping, can't you search better on the Google before you log off for the night? So I was really frustrated because it's a really big detail. The fact that they think there was another person and children there that did not get sick. And yeah, this is going to be a really interesting investigation as we go through. So I will definitely keep you updated on it. Mel Max says, who foraged them for dinner? I think it was the 58-year-old, the person whose home they were at, the one who did not get sick. I think so. So they will find out in due course, I reckon. I don't think it'll be too long. A day, 2 days. No, they haven't said what type of mushroom. They've just said it was some sort of poisoning event related to mushrooms, but I don't think they've actually said what species of mushrooms it was. There's only 2 it can be, and it's death cap or possibly yellow staining, but I don't think the yellow staining are quite as severe as the death caps are. The death caps are quite, they'll kill you. As where I think the yellow staining can make some people sick and some people cannot get sick, depending. I'm just trying to see if there is any detail of what species of mushroom, but I don't think so. So it says here, so they had them for lunch, and then on midnight on Saturday, some of them midnight. So they had them for lunch and on Saturday, and then midnight Saturday, some of them started to feel ill. During the course of the following day, on Sunday, all 4 people were admitted to either Korumburra Hospital or Leongatha hospitals. Said the group demonstrated food poisoning type symptoms and were later transferred to the Austin Hospital. It was there that 3 of the group died, while the 4th, Pastor Ian Wilkinson, remains in a critical condition. Even today, he still remains in a critical condition. Superintendent Thomas revealed a number of children had been present at the lunch, but had not partaken in the meal. He also confirmed a 5th person, a relative of the group, had been present, and it was at their home that the meal took place. The superintendent told 3AW that that person who has not been identified was the one who prepared the meal for the group. So on Saturday, they decided to execute a search warrant at that address where the lunch took place and where the meal was prepared. And they have conducted an interview with that person. That person cooked the meal, but they are still trying to determine if the mushrooms were part of that. So it's a little up in the air. They're saying we're trying to determine who at the lunch ate what, and if the person who prepared the meal did or did not eat the mushrooms. Yeah, it was at someone else's house. It's very, very weird. Very, very strange, if you ask me. I've never seen something that's like, I've seen people poisoned by mushrooms. There was one in Canberra. Hold on. One to do with here. One. Yes, here. The New Year's Eve meal that contained death cap mushrooms and killed two people was prepared in a restaurant kitchen, Canberra Health Authority said last night. Chef Liu Jun, 38, who made the meal at Chinese bistro in Harmony German Club, and a Chinese woman, So Hsing, 58, died from liver failure in a Sydney hospital while waiting for transplants. Mystery surrounds another man, 51, who remains in Sydney Prince Alfred Hospital in a stable condition with death cap poisoning. ACT Health initially said the man was part of the same group, but ACT police said this was not the case. Health authorities inspected the restaurant and said there was no risk of exposure to the general public. Friends of the chef, who had spent several years working in Australia, said he was obsessed with fresh food. He was also working to send money home to his wife and 2 children, a 7-year-old boy and a girl, 11. A sign at the Chinese bistro where the meal was prepared read, "The Chinese bistro will remain closed until further notice due to illness." It was reported last night inside the remains of a meal sat on a table next to a counter. A statement from the club last night offered condolences to the family and friends of our colleagues who died recently after an unfortunate event of eating death cap mushrooms at a private meal. That particular meal was prepared for a private meal and was not part of the public menu. The Herald does not suggest the meal was available to the public. Mr. Liu's friends believe he picked the poisonous mushrooms in Brandon on his way home from work, mistaking them for edible straw mushrooms used in Asian cooking. The 4 friends at the dinner were not members of the same family. A man in his 30s ate a small amount and left hospital on Thursday. Close friend Tom O'D said the man had only eaten a tiny portion of the deadly meal because he had been nervous about eating wild mushrooms. Hey, clever dude. Real clever guy. Saved his own life. Another person at the party had not eaten any mushrooms and was unaffected. Liu Jun, being a chef, he's super into fresh food, and that's part of the problem here. You really just don't expect that you make one mistake while eating something like that and be dead, and dead within 48 hours in the most horrible way. Death caps are among the world's most deadly mushrooms. So if you look at that and you look at the people who died of this one in Victoria, they all died by the 48-hour mark. And that's very similar to the one in Canberra with the death caps. They all died by about the 48-hour mark, except for the guy who only ate a tiny portion. The guy who ate the tiny portion was able to survive, and he lived, but not the people who ate the full meal. So I find that quite interesting. I wonder if something similar has happened here, and I wonder if it is the same mushroom as well. This is all very, very interesting. I hope we're going to get more information as the days go on, and we'll be able to see whether this was a horrible accident, more of a, something suspicious, or is it something, someone was just trying to be nice and then provide a meal for friends. I have no idea. It could go either way, I think. I know we don't have very many people on here because it's a new channel, but I'd like to know what you all think at some point, if people can figure it out. Because I'm lost. I don't know what I think happened. I think it could be either one. Either someone was nervous themselves about eating it and thought to test it out on friends, which is a pretty mean thing to do, and accidentally got the wrong mushrooms and killed them, or was it like they deliberately meant to do it? If they deliberately meant to do it, they have to be a relative, right? Because there'd have to be some like monetary benefit, or some inheritance benefit or something like that. At least that's what I think, if it was deliberate. I'm not sure though. I guess we will find out, but the fact the homicide squad are involved, is very interesting. You don't normally see them. When we read that one about the Canberra one, I don't see anything here about homicide squad being involved at all. There's nothing here that says anything about them. Having a look at it, just the ACT police. So very interesting. Well, I just wanted to come on and update about that because it came up literally just 2 minutes after I finished on the air. We're going to do more on this channel as we keep going, and more breaking news type events. So we just got to wait for something to happen that is breaking news. But when that happens, I will jump back on. Even if it's 8 a.m. in the morning, I'll try and get on, and we'll do live shows at different times of the day for different people, including our UK people. Because we have a lot of people in Europe and the UK who complain that we're never live when they want to watch the show, and they can't contribute and leave comments and things like that. So thanks for joining me for a small update, and I don't know when we'll be back. We'll be back whenever news tells us we can be back. Hey Gambler, good to see you. We're just finishing up. We're just doing a small update about the poison mushrooms. But it's all there. We played the interviews from the homicide squad lead detective, so you can have a listen. But I know it's late over there, so I know most people will probably be wanting to start gearing up for sleep. So that's it from me tonight. Thanks for coming to my new channel. I really appreciate it. And look out for more live streams in the future. Thanks for subscribing. Make sure you tell everyone, all our friends, that the new channel is here. Until next time, this has been Ping from Nights with Ping. Good night.